What's going on, folks? Before you watch this video, I just want to let you guys know that this video isn't perfect. The concept of the first mag review is basically me shooting a gun for the very first time, unscripted, unedited, and straight down to the dirty. Unfortunately, sometimes what ends up happening is what you have here in this video, where the wind overpowered all the measures I had in place to mitigate the wind. And you'll notice throughout the video, there are some areas where the wind is really strong and kind of disrupts the audio. I thought about redoing it, but then I felt it would take away from the organic nature of a first mag review. So I decided to just put it up in its raw, purest form. I apologize, but I hope you also enjoy. All right, folks, it's your boy, Colion Noir, out here at the range again with a new toy, the Grand Power Q1s from Slovakia. I like saying that, Slovakia. I honestly am not too familiar with Grand Power. I've been aware of them. I just honestly have never really shot a Grand Power gun before. One of the main things you notice about this gun immediately is that it is completely and utterly ambidextrous. From the magazine release, which is on both sides, the slide lock, which is on both sides. Whether you're left-handed, right-handed, you'll be able to run this gun without having to do any funky type of manipulating of the firearm. Off the bat, it's a bit different than what I'm used to. It's a little top heavy, not in a bad way, but in a kind of robust kind of way. The grip is very small, and I'm assuming that has a lot to do with the fact that this gun is designed for concealed carry. This is their subcompact concealed carry line of firearms. So it kind of stands to reason the grip will be a little bit small. I have, as I've noted time and time again in many videos, hobbit-sized hands. So this grip really doesn't bother me as much. That being said, the grip texturing is rather soft. It's not very aggressive. Again, I think it's in line with the idea of being a carry gun. And because of that, you know, they wanted to keep it pretty soft so it's not tearing up your shirt, so forth and so on. Aesthetically, the gun looks interesting, just because it's a style that I'm not entirely used to. The trigger is reminiscent of Glock, of course, where you have the kind of safety actuator here, and you have the trigger pull. The trigger pull, we'll get to that in a second because it's very interesting, at least on the dry fire. So on the live fire, also still be pretty interesting. So let's shoot. So yeah, I was right. This trigger is interesting. It doesn't actually, you don't get to the wall, which is odd because it just kind of breaks, if that makes any sense. It just, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, initially it's a little nerve-wracking because it kind of goes off before you really anticipate it to, because you're used to the trigger breaking at the rear of the wall, and it kind of happens at a midway point within the trigger press. Another thing, the magazine release is very definitive. It is a little tight, and I'm assuming it has a lot to do with the fact that it is ambidextrous. And so you kind of have to really dig in there and get it out. It's not horrible, it's just, like I said, different. Now, as I continue to shoot it, the trigger actually starts to become more intuitive. It kind of minimizes my ability to anticipate the shot, and I can just break it with confidence. Again, initially it seems a little jarring, but then, like, as I start shooting it more, it actually allows me to kind of predict when it's going to break a lot better, which I really, really like. And another aspect about this gun that I haven't talked about, that I picked up on the first time I shot it, or shot that first round, this gun shoots really soft, like incredibly soft. It just, for a gun gun this size, I don't know what it does. It almost, it's like it's taking the round, and then all of the recoil, it just mushes it and into oblivion, and it just dissipates before it actually gets back to your hand. And I freaking love it. All right, we're out of ammo, but I'm gonna load up some more just because I want to keep shooting this damn thing. Now, just to talk about the gun a little bit more. Okay, so as far as the recoil is concerned, it's really soft, and I mean really soft, almost nerve-wrackingly soft. And I think a lot of it has to do with this rotating barrel system that they have going on here, which is very reminiscent of the PX Storm, I believe, from Beretta. Fixed 9, Fixed Storm, whatever. You know what you're gonna do. And this gun is very different. It's just such a walk away from the standard norm. And you know, with a gun like this, I typically want to compare it to a Glock, like every other striker fire gun. Like I said, it is top heavy, but in a weird way, the top heavy aspect of the gun is a bit reassuring. It feels very solid and doesn't feel like you're dealing with a kind of peon-esque type style firearm. The grip, like I said before, if you have bigger hands, it might be a problem, but if you have small to normal size hands, I think the grip feels great. It sits in your hand comfortably. You can get a great purchase on the gun. The ergos on the gun actually feel really good. The controls on the gun are rather big, so even though, you know, engaging the magazine release is a bit tough, you can do it very easily. On top of that, the magazine lock is pretty big too, but then kind of stays out of your way. Unlike some, like for instance, like the slide lock on a lot of HKs, especially the USPs, P30s, even the VP9, I end up riding them and causing gun to lock back because slide locks are so big. And the same thing goes for this as well. Now, when we talk about bore access, I can get pretty decently high on the gun, but the gun still sits a little higher on top of my hand. But, and typically speaking, you would assume that would mean that the gun would recoil a little bit harder. But it doesn't. The gun recoils really, really soft. Not only that, it gets right back on, let me show you here, that it gets right back on target. You don't have a lot of the flipping sensation that you will get with a gun usually in this size, especially considering how it does feel top heavy, but it's almost deceptively so, because what ends up happening here, like, like this gun, this fucker over here, all the problems in the world. All right, what are we at? 100. God damn it, I'm out. Let me see if I have any more bullets. Nope, I'm out. So, for first mag, I gotta say I walked away from this gun incredibly impressed. With very little expectation of it, considering I knew not very much about it. Thought it was rather weird when I saw it, but having shot it, and just the way that it feels in my hands, ergonomically speaking, it feels great. Now, I don't know if it's just because my hands are a little bit smaller or average, whatever you want to call it, but it fits in my hand very well. Gets right up under this beaver tail down here, and the gun points really naturally. Like, I don't have any issue picking up that sight initially. So, from that perspective, on top of that, it's just, from a look standpoint, it's kind of grown on me. It looked a little awkward before, kind of like it didn't really know what kind of shape it wanted to be. But as I look at it now and I get used to looking at it, it kind of starts growing on me, like a song that you didn't really care too much for in the beginning. But then as you start to actually listen to it more and more and more and more, it starts to grow on you. I like it. I really do. There's some aspects to it that are a little wonky. Again, the trigger. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you shoot this gun, the trigger is going to startle you. Not because it's too light or that it's too heavy, It's just, it breaks at a point that you're not typically accustomed to if you're used to guns like blocks. It kind of breaks, boom. And that's where I am, right there. But there's so much travel left in the actual gun. And from a reset standpoint, it's up here. But I'm not breaking all the way back to the wall when I'm shooting. So technically speaking, my reset is here. That's the reset. And once you get used to that, and I think after one mag, it's actually pretty intuitive, you're just fine. I want to run this gun some more and then definitely come back with a more detailed review, but there it is, Grand Power Q1s. Before you go, I want to tell you about the new drinkware that's available now at shop.mrcolionnoir.com. Besides keeping your drinks cold for 24 hours and hot for 12 hours, they also make for a great conversation starter, are incredibly durable, and just look damn good. So click the image in the top left corner of this video or the link in the description section to order your drinkware today. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the image on the bottom left portion of this video. Oh, and almost forgot. Go ahead and hit that bell symbol on the top right portion as well of this video and get notified when I release new videos. Noir out.